Good evening, everybody. I don't even know what time it is anymore. I'm doing that many shows. It's ridiculous. But good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Monday night Rabble. Yes, we had the breaking news pod earlier about Barry being back. We had the 3-hour breaking news pod about Clement being sacked yesterday. So yeah, it's been all go on the Rabble. So welcome. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Get your comments in. I just need to pull this one up really quickly. Martin's on screen more than Jason Statham. It would appear that way. It would absolutely appear that way. So get your comments in, folks, and I'll try and bring up, as usual, as many as I possibly can. I'm joined tonight by Kieran and Mark. I think it's the only two people, actually, that over the last 2 days haven't made an appearance yet. So it'll be good to get some fresh views. And before we start, I have to say a big, massive thank you to our sponsors, Blue Unicorn Digital. Blue Unicorn specialise in designing beautiful SEO-friendly websites for businesses in Glasgow, Edinburgh, and across the UK. Their websites are built to enhance your online visibility, attract more customers, and help your business grow. Whether you're a startup or an established company, Blue Digital create responsive, custom websites that stand out in search engines and deliver real results. And I can say that I know the man behind Blue Unicorn. He is an outstanding web designer. He's helped me in the past, and he really is top notch. So if you're looking for your own website, go and check out Blue Unicorn Digital. Kieran, I was going to go to Mark there first, right? But I always go to Mark first. So Kieran, how are you?
I'm all right. Pretty refreshed by the news in the last 24 hours. Feeling more confident and just happy we've got actual Rangers men in the dugout.
And Mark, that's how you do an ad read, isn't it?
I was going to say there, you actually speak very well there. That was not scripted at all, right off the cuff. And I tell you what, you get every single item that you needed to get in there, and you nailed it absolutely perfectly. Well done for that. Because as I said, that's no easy doing that off the cuff, Martin. It really isn't.
It's not. Do you think I could get a job doing adverts?
Do you know what? I think that you've definitely got a face for radio. So
I could do radio adverts.
Radio adverts, you are the man, 100%.
How are you, Mark? All right?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I was a wee bit disappointed the other night that my Wi-Fi didn't work very well. I was going to say something else here, but we're too soon into the podcast. Using bad language. So yeah, so I'm all good. Mate. Hopefully it'll hold up tonight, and I can get to rant and rave.
Well, let's start with you then, Mark, shall we? Before we get to Barry Ferguson and Alan McGregor and Billy Dodds and Neil McCann, let's start off with which feels like old news now. I don't know if that's just because I've been talking about it so much, but Philippe Clement gone, Mark, not before time.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. I think it's kind of a feels for all Rangers fans. I think it's almost like a weight off our shoulders. I think it's something that kind of had to happen. No harm to the man, but I just think there came a point where there comes a point with no return, especially with Rangers. And I've said it before. I've said it bloody more times than I care to remember. That once that starts slipping, there's no way back. It's almost like a runaway train. There's no stopping it, and it just goes from bad to worse. The inevitable is that the manager will get removed. It seems to be fairly amicable from what you read and what you hear. But I think it was a long time coming. I mean, I think they tried their hardest, but I think at the end up, I think the need for change was greater than the need to try and hang on to try and appease new owners, if that's going to be the case. So for me, in all fairness as well, I feel a wee bit sorry for the man, but I know some will slate me in the comments for that, but I think it was well overdue. It was time for him to leave, and listen, no hard feelings. It's just it's never worked for him, and we move on.
Look, yeah, it's one of these things, Kieran. Is supporters of all clubs, when it's not worked out for the manager, and he said some silly things in press conferences, and we've got annoyed with him. It doesn't mean that we all automatically just dislike him as a person.
Yeah.
We disliked him as Rangers manager, Kieran. But that doesn't mean that we dislike him as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone, you can't say everyone now, because there will be a few people that don't like him as a person, right? There will be that kind of select few that will be like that, but yeah, nothing personal. If you're working and you've got somebody that leaves the job to go somewhere else, it's not anything personal usually. It's just it hasn't worked out in that place. And the thing with Clement is he came in, and when he came in, he said the right things. He got a reaction from the team, and it was like, right, okay. At one point, he was compared to kind of Wizard early in his tenure, and maybe he got a bit complacent. I don't know. He won the final and was like, right, okay, we're looking like we've got a bit of a winner here. And then he comes across against the low blocks, and he doesn't have a plan. Like we've seen a lot of Rangers fall at that hurdle. And he just never regained that momentum. He would go in a couple of, not even winning streaks, but you would kind of look and go, right, okay. But he didn't have a style of play. His press conferences became more and more erratic. He sounded a bit like Pedro and some of the things that he said. A lot of people, like towards the end, Van Bronckhorst's tenure, you would kind of start to turn off when they were speaking. Again, nothing personal. I wish him all the best. I think that maybe in a different team, it's proven that he can be a winner. But I think the job is too big for him. Exactly what Rusty just said there, and you've brought it up. I just feel that we need to bring in somebody that knows what managing a big club is like. I know you can Bruges, Monaco, etc., but the alarm bells were there when they said that he lost the players at Monaco. And again, I think you could have gave him a sat-nav and a map and a compass, and he still wouldn't find the dressing room again. Again, nothing personal to the man. I hope he does well. But yeah, I just think that the team was slowly combusting, and the board, I can't say they've done it in time, because I think it should have been done sooner. Mm-hmm. But they've made that choice. They've got rid of him. So again, all the best, and let's see what this new team brings in the interim.
Can I just say, actually, before we carry on any more conversation, Mark, today is the birthday of, in my opinion, and I know people might argue Bilstruth, but in my opinion, the greatest ever Rangers manager, Walter Smith. It's mental that it's been so long since we lost him, but in my opinion, and I'll speak, and every year on his birthday, I'll speak about this, and I'll speak about this until the day that I go. But in my opinion, the greatest ever Rangers manager.
I think there's not many would agree. Disagree. There's not many would disagree with that. I think that, especially of a certain age, myself, probably yourself, just a special man. I think that the word legend gets brandished about far too often. I think it's loosely flung at people that probably don't deserve it. But for me, the measure of the man is the fact that there's a statue at Ibrox outside it. Such a big club, such a historic club, and as I said, the man's had an aura about him. I think everybody speaks of that, and I think he's very much one of the few men left. I think it was obviously a dying breed, that type of manager that commands a room when he walks into it. So yeah, it's sorely missed. But no, I would agree with you. He's one of the, if not the greatest manager in Rangers history, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I'll echo your sentiments, Mark.
I mean, he done so much, Kieran, for our football club. It's unreal. He was flying high with Scotland. Who knows what he could have went on and done with the national team. And of course, as he says, the only club he would ever have left that job for was the Rangers job, and we needed him, and he came in and he fixed it.
100%. The way that I can kind of see it is he's really the only manager that we've had that's always had the club in his heart. Like, you've got people that go different places, etc., but he always spoke well, and even players that get interviewed, etc., on different podcasts and interviews in general, I've never heard anyone have a bad word against him. Yeah, they've maybe said that some of the things he's said to them in the past is maybe made them feel a little bit rubbish, but then they used that as fuel to go on and get better and try and show him what they were missing. And I just feel like he was, when I think about Rangers managers, he is the only one that really comes to mind and sticks in my head.
Yeah, 100%. Well said. Well said. And he'll never, ever be forgotten. That is absolutely for sure. Even in 200 years, they'll still be talking about Walter Smith. You can bite your bottom dollar on that. Mark, just kind of back to Clement, and it wasn't just Clement that left. And we learned today that Alex Ray's away, Stephen Van der Hayden, if that's how you pronounce it, is away, and also Colin Stewart, the goalkeeping coach, and now we know why.
That's a surprising one for me. I think that I thought that he was probably a mainstay. He's done a great job and worked with some great goalkeepers over the years. So, listen, I like the saying is new broom sweeps clean, doesn't it? So, I think that you need to, for me, you have a complete clear out, and that's kind of what it looks like. There's only one that's remained, but I mean, realistically, you can't blame that the Moroccan boy, because he's literally just in the door. So, I dare say this is quite clearly not a Clement signing as such, it wasn't him that was involved in taking on this coach. So it seems like that's came from the club.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously this boy's got something he's well thought of. We really don't know the ins and outs, because I would probably guess use two guys I've never heard of this boy before he appeared. So hopefully this boy
it's not, Mark, let's be brutally honest. Mark, right? It's no coincidence that we've got a wonder kid up front who's Moroccan, and we just happen to hire an assistant coach who's Moroccan.
Well, yeah, no, but obviously, I mean, even if you take the Moroccan thing away from it, when you read into this guy's clearly got something. He's clearly very, very well thought of. Mm-hmm. So, for me, that's.
But does he come in, Mark, regardless of how well thought of he is? Does he come in as a second assistant to Clement if Hamza Egeman's not in this Rangers team?
I would like to think so. I mean, I take a stab in the dark and say that I would say Hamza was very, very close to going in January. I would say he was very close to going, and I would think that if he finishes this season well, I think that he'll be away in the summer. And I think that if we get offered the kind of money that's getting brandished about, you'd be mad not to take it. Whether there's Americans coming in with all sorts of money, or there's no Americans coming in with all sorts of money, I think that the days of us, I think the one spitting twice shy thing is with the fact that we never get rid of Kent and we never get rid of Morelos when we had the chance. So I don't think that's going to be in the equation, the fact that this Moroccan guy's just in the door, because I would like to have thought that he's there on merit rather than the fact that he's Moroccan and he's a Moroccan coach. I think that probably whoever scouted Egeman has came across this coach and been really, really impressed with him, and then done his homework, and that's why he's come in, rather than the fact that it's just a buddy for Egeman. So take it as face value. I would like to think that this boy's here on merit, and time will tell with this guy. But as I said, that guy was never ever going to go with Clement, I don't think, because, as I said, he was just in the door.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, I'm just making that assumption that he was brought in because Egeman's here. It's just me being me. Kieran, I'm glad, not because I dislike him or anything like that, but I'm glad that along with Clement and obviously his assistant, that Alex Ray has gone as well, because it would have been easy for the board to go, well, he's a Rangers man, he knows the club, he can stay and help until the end of the season. I'm glad Alex Ray's gone as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what he did. Did he just be brought in to put the cones in and out on a match day for the warm-up? I mean, I can't see what he would realistically have brought to the coaching staff. When you heard him speak as well, the times you did, he didn't exactly fill me with enthusiasm either. So, I mean, if you've got Clement with his analogies and you've got other people, then you've got Alex Ray trying to G up. I mean, realistically, what chance have you got?
He's got the best, Ian Thompson saying, he had the best you whistle in Scottish football. He certainly could whistle. Mark, I want to take this to you, actually. This is for Kelso. A sad couple of days for the club for me. The players have thrown Clement under a bus. The board has thrown him to the wolves. This is the part I want your opinion on, though. The support has made the Rangers manager position a poison chalice.
Listen, there's a wee bit of truth in that. I can back that to a certain extent. I really do. I mean, we've spoke many times about my feelings in the way that some of the Rangers fans have evolved over the years. And I'm not going to hide behind it. I'm not going to just play the Tory party line and say that that's not the case. Listen, understand that us as fans have been used to a certain level of winning, a certain level of the way the team plays, a certain level of player that's come in the door, and that hasn't happened. That's over the last God knows how many years we've been chasing our arse. So much so that probably some of the younger ones can't even remember a great Rangers team, which is very sad. But I think some of the knee-jerk reactions over the last 2, 3, 4 years, maybe 5 years, is gradually get worse and worse and worse. So much so, I mean, I've even spoken about it with our group chat sometimes. Some of the knee-jerk reaction blows my mind. And I understand it. It's because we all care about the club and we all want this club to do well. But sometimes, and it's maybe the hardest thing to do, is probably take a step back and take a deep breath and think about things logically. Back to the Clement thing as well. Clement wasn't good enough. Bottom line, wasn't good enough. He never improved some of these players, and that's ultimately what his job is. He shouldn't be getting better the quality of teams that we were up against, especially with the squad that we've got. Now, was our squad up to par? No. But I believe that when Clement came in, he was told you'll get X, Y, and Z. And I think come the time where it was time for him to get X, Y, and Z, they just kind of basically put their pockets inside out and went like that. Do you know what? There's not a lot here for you. We need you to cut the budget. We need you to get shot of the older players. We need you to try and work with loans, try and work with guys that are coming in and freeze. And I don't think that's what he signed up for. And I think that's why...
Mark, I need to jump straight back at you, right? That doesn't explain getting beat at home off Queen's Park. That doesn't explain that third performance against St Mirren. That doesn't explain dropping points left, right and centre. And it certainly doesn't explain, rebuild or not, right? Crap to deal with or not, it does not explain our away record in the league.
No, 100%. And like I said, that's the whole. It wasn't good enough, and ultimately he's lost his job because of that. And for me, he probably should have lost his job a lot sooner. Probably for most of the people, awful lot sooner than what he did do. But what I'm saying is that for me is, I mean, listen, if you come into work and somebody went like that to you, right? We're bringing you on, new job, new role. We're giving you X, Y, and Z. And all of a sudden, a week later or 2 weeks later, they go, do you know what? Remember we offered you that? Well, we're not giving you that anymore. You wouldn't be happy. And I think that's why you get...
I've never made over £1 million in a year. So I'd just be living off that, you know what I mean?
you wouldn't be taking a wage cut for anything.
You are wish.
But no, as I said, I'm kind of digressing and kind of jumping all over the place, but for me, it is a bit of a poison chalice now. I think that at some point, I think that probably now we think's happening and what's allegedly going to happen with American buyouts and stuff like that, things seem a lot rosier. I think that if this wasn't the case, I think that poison chalice thing would be far more prominent, because who wants to come to Rangers with no money, with the fans that are absolutely jumping up and down the spot unhappy? Nobody. The team's not performing. So for that point of view, if it was me, I'd be like, you know what? This isn't for me, I don't think.
I think he should have realised that a long time ago, to be honest. But anyway, Kieran, moving on, which seems amazing that it's only, a day after, the day after he's been sacked, and we're moving on for it already. But Barry Ferguson is back at the football club as interim manager. And I have to say, and I said this earlier on the day, and I'll say it again, it's interim. It's 3-4 months. He's just in to take over things until the takeover's done, and the new board can get on with whatever they want to get on with in terms of finance and investment and a new players and a new manager, etc., etc. I'm surprised at the mixed reaction. In fact, I'll rephrase that. I'm surprised at the severity of the people, because you can say I don't want Fergie in, fair enough, but I'm surprised at the severity of some of the comments, like, "Oh, now we're going to finish third," or "This is a banter years all over again." I'm surprised at that.
Look, I mean, first and foremost, the league's done. We can't win another cup except from the Europa, which is highly unlikely. Let's be honest here. Let's not beat around the bush. There's a lot of good teams still in, and although we've done it before and got right to the final, I don't see this team being able to do it. So I think he's basically been brought in just to steady the ship and stop it going down anymore. I think perhaps he's been brought in to give the players a shake. As I said to you before we came on air, I feel Ferguson coming in could maybe be able to give these players that have got a bit complacent and are only playing really because there's no one else to play in their position just now. I feel like maybe Barry can come in and kind of say, well, wait a minute here, this is absolutely not good enough at all. And not even saying it's not good enough, because the players will know themselves what they're doing right now is not good enough at all. They've continuously let this fan base down. They've let themselves down and they've let each other down. And I don't want to get on at Tav, right? Because I've loved Tav for years, but right now, Tav is not a captain. You can see that he's given up. You can see that he's not the Tav that we know and love because he's getting older, fair enough. That's not an excuse to let his performance drop as bad as it has. You've then got Jeff Day, who, since this linked move to Chelsea, looks an absolute shadow of himself. And I said that in the group chat a while ago that I didn't think Jeff Day was all as good in singing and dancing as everybody else thought. And I stick by that. I don't. You've then got Clement that put Igaman, the striker that's in form, playing on the left, and we then bring Bajrami in, who has a horrendous attitude. It's not worked for him, but he's not exactly showed that he's committed and trying to do better. You can see that he just minces about. Again, you can see a couple of former players that probably didn't like Clement. I seen something in the group chat earlier about Cantwell. Cantwell put something up with Tav. Don't know if it's maybe an inside joke or a dig at Clement. You can just see that Clement didn't have the respect at all. And I think that's what Barry Ferguson will be able to do, is assert authority. And we talk about aura. I'm not saying that Barry Ferguson's got this glowing aura about him. But to be honest, Barry Ferguson is very well respected from what he did at his time at Rangers. Granted, it wasn't the greatest situations when he has opened his mouth in the past about Rangers and he has made a couple of digs, etc. Now his chance is to come in and try and say to these players, either ship in or ship out. I mean, the takeover is basically almost done, so that's going to come in. And like I said before in the super chat yesterday, the money that we can maybe get, we can start buying players that actually want to play for this club, that have got the ability to handle the weight of this jersey. And who is best to tell those players now what it is and the expectations and the standards of Rangers? Is not somebody that's never played at Ibrox before, that came in with a language barrier and didn't gain the players' respect. We've got somebody coming in, yes, in the intern, a good couple of players that are going to come in and tell these players what it's like to play at Rangers, the suit and tie rule, etc. I hope that gets brought in. And I hope that when he does speak to the players, he doesn't mince his words. He needs to be telling them, and I'd be starting with Tav and Butland, your experienced players, that what you're providing right now is absolutely not good enough.
Is there a worry mark, though? And by the way, I should just say, I know there's a few people who wanted to put in super chats and don't know how to do it or whatever. I have set up a buy me a coffee. If you want to do that, then I will read out any comments that you put in there. The link for that is in the description. I know there's a few people who don't get on well with YouTube's technology. I don't myself. So the buy me a coffee is in the description. Mark, a few people have said, and again, Bean, what are we now? 15 points, clear of third place. You know, woo, celebrate. There's a few people that have said, you know, Barry Ferguson, old school, Alan McGregor. I mean, the communication you get off of Alan McGregor is second to none, right enough. That guy, I mean, I can't wait for him to do a post-match interview. That'll be electric. Is there any way that these guys are maybe a bit too, like Kieran mentioned, they're old school for nowadays players?
I think that the well, quite seriously, we don't really know because we've not really seen much at any of them really. Barry Ferguson's probably the closest you're going to get to that old school, but we don't know. We don't know what's this might surprise you. I don't really know. For me, the appointment's got a wee bit of me being slightly sceptical. Is it let's get staunch and try and sell some season tickets? But for me as well, they can't do any worse. Let's face it, they cannot do any worse.
And
So
that's
maybe
also a good point. Sorry, Mark. Aaron. McGregor was in the dressing room 2 years ago. It's not as if he's been away for 10 years.
no, I know. So for me, I don't know. I don't know whether they're maybe trying a different tact. Maybe if they are old school, it's a shock tactic to try and get more out of these players. Maybe the board feel as if they need a rocket up their arse. Maybe that's what the kind of the thinking behind this the appointments. Or is it been a case of, well, let's bring in people that know the club and know the standards? So there's a few different ways you can look at this. Only time's going to tell. You really don't know. As I said, Barry Ferguson might have spent the last, I don't know how many years it's been since he's actually been in management. So he might have spent the last 2, 3, whatever years it is, trying to learn new tactics, new formations, new ways of coaching, and he might come out and be the next ultra modern with some sort of a strange
I'll have to
tactical
do that
knowledge.
behind a microphone, no, Mark.
Yeah, I know, I get that. But listen, a microphone's only half hour. His time or an hour, his time per day. I mean, during the day, I know that my 2 boys were at Auchenhowie for a training thing, and it was like a 3-day thing. And in the last day, Barry Ferguson was in training, my 2 boys. So he's been in and around Auchenhowie. So he appeared and he done a question and answers thing with the boys and all that. And as I said, spending his time, and that was like, I think it was probably about 8 o'clock at night. So it just shows you the commitment and what he is doing behind the scenes, rather than just rocking up and sitting behind a microphone. So as it stands at the minute, we don't know. From my point of view, I'm a little bit, well, it doesn't really matter. For me, the rest of the season's dead rubbers, unless something dramatic happens and there's a meteorite falls out of the sky or something and damages something. For me, it's a dead rubber. It doesn't really matter. Couldn't do any worse. The only thing is that Ferguson, McCann, not so much Billy Dodds for me, because I don't really class him as a proper Rangers man, although he is. But McGregor, there's a chance here that they might damage their reputation in a club if it gets really bad. So I really don't know. There's so many questions that probably are going to get answered over the next 5, 10 weeks, whatever, 8 weeks.
Well, a major one's going to get answered on Wednesday, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Even though it's only a couple of days away.
Yeah. So, and back to that point you made earlier about the team and no performing and being lackadaisical and all that good stuff, you'll see straight away on Wednesday whether these players didn't want to play for Clement or that's just how they are. And you're going to know within the first 15 minutes of this game if they're busting a gut, flying into tackles, tracking back. Do you know what I mean? So you're going to know straight away. If that's the case, then you know that was a Clement issue, and it was a personality issue, and that was the problem. Whereas, as I said, that might be the tact, might be shock tactics to bring in these types of appointments to try and give these guys a kick up the arse that they need. So there's so many questions needing answered, which is going to be interesting, because the rest of the season is not going to be that interesting as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and can I just say, Airwolf, I've got your super chat there, buddy. I will bring it up. But first of all, I'm going to play an interview that Barry's done. I'm going to play that now. I might not play all 7 minutes of it, folks, right? But I will play a little bit, so you can hear at least what the new interim manager has got to say.
Barry, welcome back. You've been appointed as Rangers head coach. How do you feel to be taking on this role?
Proud, excited. If I'm being honest, it came out of the blue. So it's been a whirlwind 24 hours, but just happy to get it done, get my staff together, and obviously get into the training ground and get going.
You say it's a whirlwind. What have these last 24 hours been like for you? It's obviously all been very quick.
Severe lack of sleep. I've had 2 or 3 hours, because obviously I had to, as I mentioned, get a backroom staff together, and I've got to be respectful that they were in jobs elsewhere, so we had to get all that sorted. But thankfully the guys worked hard at that, and so did the chief exec and the chairman. And thankfully we got it done quicker than I expected, so that allows us to get in quicker than we thought. So we're just eager to get started and look ahead to the next game, which is Wednesday against Kilmarnock. The
chance to come in here as manager, is that one that you couldn't turn down? Was that such a great opportunity for you to come in here?
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I didn't think it would ever come. I've been happy what I've been doing the last 2 or 3 years, if I'm being honest, since I came out of coaching. I've been back at the club, obviously, as you know, as an ambassador. I'm enjoying that role. So, no, when I get asked, look, it was a job I couldn't turn down, albeit it's only for 3 months, I know that. But it's my job to go and get a kick out of this group of players, because when I watched them, I think there's really good players there. So it's our job as staff, and my job as a manager, to go and get the best that I think I can get out of them. Did you speak to anyone about taking the job before you? It's obviously been quick, but were there any conversations with people that you had before you took this? Yeah, a couple of people who are respecting the game. They were a bit surprised as well. But I always lean on these guys because I trust them. I trust their judgment, and they knew when I spoke to them, knew how excited I was, and just desperate to get started. And I'm looking forward to, as I said, just getting out in the training pitch and spending a bit of time with the players. As a player here, you of course played under a number of successful managers too. Is there's things that you can take from them now, from your playing days into your coaching now here? Yeah, look, I'm my own man, but listen, as you mentioned, I played under some fantastic managers that obviously I learned so much of. So obviously I'm going to take bits, but I'm my own guy. I've got a certain way of playing. You'll see that straight away, and that's where we have to get to work on the training ground. We've only got a day's preparation before the Kilmarnock game, which is no ideal, but it is what it is. I'm not complaining. Listen, I'm in a fantastic position, and we're just going to give it a roll. But you will see certain differences come Wednesday night. You have watched the team, of course, this season. How do you assess it so far? Inconsistent, if I'm being honest with you. I think in terms of, for instance, Europe, I think some of the performances have been top class. Domestically, for me, that's your bread and butter. That's where you've got to win most weeks. Look, you're always going to have a bump in the road, but I think there's been too many bumps in the road. So it's our job, and my job as a manager, and the staff's job, is to try and get a level of consistency into the squad. Because as I said, there's definitely quality players, and they look a good group. They just look a bit flat at this moment in time. But again, that's our job as a staff to try and get that confidence back up. You will have your first session with the players tomorrow. What will be your message to them in these early stages? Enjoy it. You're playing with Glasgow Rangers. It's a privilege. Walking through into this training centre. I've not been here for a while. I see the number of changes. Enjoy yourself, and they're going to enjoy training. Training will be tough, there's no doubt, but it'll be enjoyable as well. It'll be at a certain standard, which I would expect. So, yep, it's all about enjoying your football. Listen, it's serious when it comes to 90 minutes. It's all about winning at Rangers. That's how I was brought up. And that's the way I want my players to be. You have to win every game. The demands and the expectations put on you here, when people come to watch you, they expect you to win games. And I don't think we've won enough this year.
You spoke about your coaching staff a bit earlier, the guys that are coming in with you here. Can you tell us a bit more about them and what kind of roles they'll take on? Will you all have your own individual things, or how's that going to shape up?
Well, obviously, I'm going to be the manager. I brought in Billy Dodds and Neil McCann, who have had previous experience as managers. I played with them. I know the characters that they are. I know how good they are on the training pitch in terms of organisational skills. They put on really good sessions, and obviously Alan McGregor, everybody knows what he done for the club. So I'm excited with my staff. When I asked them, I was unsure if I could get them, but they were great. The first point was, no, desperate to come and work for you, and that's what I want. So just delighted to get it all done. And as I said, I'm excited to start working with these guys, and we're excited to get to work with the players.
Sam has been in the coaching staff here for a few weeks now. How much are you looking forward to working with him too?
Yeah, looking forward to it. I've met him. We spent a bit of time together, just me and Sam, talking about just players and obviously the way that I want to take the team forward. So, yep, he'll just need to get used to obviously a new coaching team coming in. But listen, he's eager. That's what I want. He's got a good work ethic about him. That's important to me. So, yep, looking forward to bring them into the staff.
Just finally, on the fans, what would your message be to the fans tonight? The
message would be, you're going to see a team that's going to have a certain style of play, attack-minded. We're going to try and win every single game. We're going to be aggressive, which was a part of my game as well. And I don't mean that by going and tackling people or going over the top on people. I mean aggressive in the press. So we just need to make sure we get it right. But as I said, when I look at the squad, I do believe there is a team capable of winning games week in, week out. So I'm just excited to get started. You can see I'm getting a bit sweaty here and ready to go. And we'll just, listen, we'll take it game by game. But every game we enter to win.
Right, well, yeah, Barry for president, if I'm being honest with you. You know, it's, look, Kieran, I'm struggling a wee bit after that because it's just an interview. Every manager does one. Before I heard that, I was on the sort of, yeah, it's Barry. He'll do until the end of the season. And as soon as you hear the interview, you go, and this is not a diss of Philip Clement, right? As soon as you hear that interview button, you hear the first few words, you go, yep, that's exactly what the team needs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you could actually, and I know it's probably a cliche saying it, you could probably hear the smile, like how buzzing he was. You could hear that he was really, like, there was maybe a couple of digs in there about the team looking flat.
He was being honest.
Yeah. Listen, I think if the interview ran any longer, he would be about 5 minutes away from quoting Bill McGills. I think that he's really, I think he understands the task at hand. And I understand that obviously he knows that it's only for so long. So he's probably already got ideas in his head what he can do. And the fact that he's already spoke to the other coach, I feel like that's good as well, because he's wanting to get somebody on the same page before they even take training, which I think is really good, because there's nothing worse if you come in and it's a mixed bag and they're falling on top of each other here with things they're trying to do. I think it was a really, really strong first interview. And I'm actually, for the first time, and I know the league's gone, but I'm really looking forward to seeing this style on Wednesday for the short time that they've got. But he's saying there's going to be a style of play and you're going to see changes. So I'm looking forward to seeing that on Wednesday.
I mean, it's big words, Mark, to be fair, from Barry. And look, it's just been so crap for so long, right? Let's just call a spade, right? It's just been so crap for so long that when you hear somebody coming in, and of course it's biased, but you hear that Scottish accent and you hear the league's of bread and butter, you're going to see a difference right away, and the players should be enjoying it. It's a privilege. Yes, it's buzzwords, of course it is, but it makes you as a Rangers supporter go, aye, do you know what? That's it.
Yeah, no, listen, he sounds very fired up, and it sounds as if he's taking us very, very seriously. And why wouldn't you? I mean, I think if you look at the point of view of he's a Rangers man, he's a fan. I mean, not only was it a dream for him to play for the club, captain the club, win trophies with the club. Now he's the manager of the club, and somebody posted in the group it was just under 5 year when he said to Pedro Caixinha that where he sees himself in 5 years, he's sitting where you're sitting, which is quite ironic. Listen, I think let's not all get carried away. They've only been in the door a day. I think that for me,
we're going to win the league. We're going to pull it back. We're going to win the league. We're going to win the Europa League. Barry's going to be knighted by the end of the season. Let's do it.
But we're still going to win the cup somehow, even though we're out.
We'll win the cup even though we're out.
There's all sorts of clips getting done of that now, Martin. You do realise that, don't you? But no, let's be realistic, right? So for me, I'm not going to get carried away. He talks the talk that you would expect from a Rangers fan. He's pretty much said what any of us would say if we were standing in that position, that they would ask, what do we need? Mm-hmm. Bread and butter, all the usual buzzwords. So, yeah, listen, he seems fired up. He seems taking it very seriously. But listen, let's not expect moonbeams and bloody rainbows come Wednesday. Let's be realistic here. All I'm looking for is for this team to show a bit of heart, a bit of desire, and a bit of fight come Wednesday. And hopefully in a day or 2 days, Barry Ferguson and the rest of the team can install that into these players. For me, that's what's lacking in this team. He said it himself. There is some talent in this side. Some possibly need to step up to the plate. But for me, that's like I said previously, maybe that's why they brought them in. Maybe the board think that this team need a kick up the arse. Listen, us as fans think that this team need a kick up the arse. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's their way of thinking. Let's get Rangers men in. Let's get the standards where they need to be, and kick on, as I said. But let's not get carried away. I know he spoke well there, but he's pretty much told us what we want to hear. The proof is most definitely going to be in the pudding. So,
well, Mark, thanks very much, mate, for that. Allowing me 2 minutes of pure buzz. Thanks very much, mate. I appreciate that.
Oh, listen. You need to be realistic, as I said. It is what it is. I just don't want everybody come Wednesday, if it all goes wrong, everybody's back on here getting used to stick. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, I get stick just for the way I look.
I know that. We all do it.
It doesn't really
Listen, I wish the team all the best. I hope that we go out on Wednesday, play all sorts of mad, expansive football, score 8 or 9 goals. Barry Ferguson's the second coming of Ferguson, and I mean Ferguson, the manager, and he's ways for the next 20 years, and he goes on to win all sorts. But as I said, let's not let the tail wag the dog. Let's let him get in, let him get his feet under the table, let him take it for there.
No, do you know what? Like if you're going to go with Mark, right? Put in vote Mark, right, for his negativity and his stubbornness and his rationalisation and all that, right? And I'm just being level-headed, right? If you're going to go with me, am I going to win the Europa League? Am I going to come back and win the league and everything's going to be rosy in the garden? And by the end of the season, Barry Ferguson will be knighted. Then put vote Martin in the comments. So vote Martin or vote Mark, right? And I guarantee you it's all vote Martin, right? I absolutely guarantee it. But I'm going to bring up this super chat from Rabble. Wait, put it in ages ago, but I wanted to bring it up at the right time. And this seems like the right time, Kieran. And thank you very much for the support channel member as well. Walter would have been the perfect person to advise Barry at this time. He absolutely would have. Walter would have been the perfect man to come into Rangers and manage at this time, to be brutally honest. But here's the second point, and I don't really think it matters, Kieran, right? But you're going to continue my over the top, getting too carried away trend here, right?
Right, okay.
What happens if Barry does well?
There's a statue outside Edmonton. No, listen,
No,
I think
put statues up there.
if he does well, do I think that he'll be Rangers manager? No. I think the Americans that come in will have something in mind. But I think it'll lead to a different job for him. I would love nothing more than Barry Ferguson to do absolute wonders. But do I think that he'll ever be kept on as a Rangers manager in full, regardless if we won the Europa League? No. I think that they'll be dreaming a little bit bigger. I don't know in what extent, but listen, the first point there, Walter, would be perfect to advise Barry at this time. Absolutely, 1,000,000%. And the fact is that I feel Barry Ferguson probably will have a little bit of the Walter technique in terms of giving the players a hairdryer treatment when needed. I know that Alan McGregor never minced his words on the pitch. I would only love to see what he would say with a little bit of authority in the dressing room. I absolutely look. I want to keep my feet on the ground as well. Like I'm a vote Martin, but I'll listen to Mark. Right, that's kind of my.
It looks like you're the only one that's voting Martin. That's all I'm saying.
Mate, yeah. I'm sure if we had Lewis on the pod right now, he'd be voting Martin as well. So.
Listen, I'm just wanting to say I've been keeping a wee eye on this. Martin, vote Martin, vote Martin. Wait a minute. Let's go, Martin. All right, there's a vote mark in there, right? Martin.
Look, see if I was running the show, I'd be doing that and all. I'd be sticking marks up.
Martin, it's all vote Martin.
It just keeps putting the same ones up. Look, he's done it 5 times.
It's all vote Martin. We're all getting. I mean, Ian Thompson put in vote Kieran because, of course, he would, because that's Ian Thompson, you know. And I think the Catalyst put vote me, and somebody put vote Reform. So whatever. All sorts of different.
Trump as well.
Vote Trump. It's too late. It's already done. But yeah, there we go. Oh God. I mean, Kieran, I liked the way he was talking, but what he has done now is he set his stall out, which shows courage in his first interview, and he says right away from Wednesday you will see a different way this team will play, high press, high intensity. Do the players at the club right now strike you as a type of team that can do that?
I think they could if they have somebody pulling the strings that actually maybe explains it better, or I don't know if there's maybe just because Clement was a bit delusional in some of the things that he asked his team. I think that maybe Barry Ferguson coming in can simplify it a little bit. I'm excited to see the change in Raskin. I wonder if he'll maybe focus on Raskin a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to use Igaman in his preferred position. I don't see Badrami having a lot of input under Ferguson. Again, we don't know what Badrami is like in terms of what his attacking press could be. Having a manager that explains it differently or sets it up differently, I feel that Ferguson's not going to beat around the bush, and that's what I think this team badly needs. I think that some players need to learn some home truths. And if that's to Robin Proper that he's not strong enough, or Tav that he's not doing enough, or Jeffrey that he's focusing too much on going forward and he's attacking, slipping, Diamonde that he's got the skills, but he's not using them in the correct way. He can maybe, I don't know, I just feel like, I hope, just to be signal you did there, Mark, I wonder if we'll see that at Parkhead with Barry Ferguson and McGregor sitting like that. But
see
no,
what I done? You like that, didn't you? See what I done?
I was talking about it earlier, but no, I think that under Ferguson and his team, I'm hoping that he can make his ideas more clearer, set up clearer. And yeah, I think this team have got the potential to press aggressively and really cause problems.
Yeah, I mean, just to quickly bring this up for guys, Martin, a question for you. Would you take losing everything this season to get the board out? The board are leaving. American investors are coming in. So, and no, I wouldn't take losing everything because we've already lost everything in terms of the league and the cups.
100%.
So,
yes.
no, listen, there's new investment coming in. Don't let people online scare you into thinking it's not happening. These are people that are just scared and desperate for it not to happen. So please don't worry about it. James Cameron's put a super chat in just to vote Mark, which I'm a little bit angry at James, to be honest. You couldn't even just pretend to vote Martin there. But in all seriousness, thank you for the support, my friend. Greatly appreciated. Channel member also. And you can become a member of the Rabble and get content every single day. Tonight at 9, we've got the EPL show, for example. Tomorrow, we've got the live member stream where we do the phone in. Wednesday, we've got the movie review show. And every single day, we've got the afternoon Rabble as well. So there's loads and loads of content. And that way, you're helping to support us as we try and move into the fan media aspect of it. That's what we're doing all this for. So check the links in the description as well if you want to consider becoming a member on YouTube. And we've also got Patreon. You just choose whatever one you want, whatever one suits you best. And a massive thank you, by the way, to our sponsors, Blue Unicorn Digital. The link for their website is in the description as well. So go and check them out. And one final bit of my advertising is go and check out the merch site. Donald does so much for us in designing loads and all the products that you see there. The link for that is in the description as well. You can get all sorts of stuff. And if you spend £50 or more, then you're entered into a draw to win a PS5. And all you need to do is screenshot proof of your purchase and send it to rabbleisland@gmail.com with your details, and you are entered into a competition to win a PS5. So that's rabbleisland@gmail.com with proof of your purchase, £50 or more. $49.99 is accepted because that's at a price of one of the things on there. You send that to rabbleisland@gmail.com and you're entered into win a PS5. What more could you want? And Smudge has gifted, amazingly, 5 Rangers Rabble memberships. Smudge, you are a legend. Thank you very, very much for that. There was a question, a comment I wanted to bring up, and I've completely forgot to start it, Mark. And it's actually annoying because it was a really, really, really good question, and I can't find it, and it's annoyed me.
Make one.
Oh, see, I would, right? But I've done like 4 podcasts in the last 5 podcasts in the last 2 days, and one of them was for 3 hours. So you'll forgive me if my mind goes blank from time to time. But channel member William wants to know who do you think will be the most improved player under the new management team? Difficult question.
Very, very difficult question. Yeah.
But if you had to put a fiver on it, Mark,
Barami.
Please show your working, please, Mark.
Well, it can't be any worse. But I mean, this boy's got talent. Clearly, this boy's got talent. If you watch him, he's got a lovely touch, knows how to dip a shoulder, play a pass, can score a goal. Boy's got talent. Seen it first maybe 4 or 5 games when he came to us. The boy was a player. Looking back at where he's played previously and looking at games that he's played, the boy's a player. He's just, for some reason, I don't know whether he's had a ding dong or a fallout with Clement, or who knows what it is. It could be anything really. But for me, as it stands at the minute, he's kind of floundering and he's kind of in the wilderness, and he's needing somebody to maybe, I think, stick a wee arm around about him and tell him he's great, and you maybe see the best of him. And probably play him a different way as well. I mean, I've said it before on here regarding the way Clement played his 10s, and hence the reason why the wee guy with the long hair that we'll not mention his name put in a transfer request. So I think that Clement wanted his 10s to play as a second striker, hence the reason why he started playing strikers in there, i.e. Igaman and Danilo. So for me, that's not a 10 position if you're going to play them like that. For me, that's like a false 9 rather than that. So, and I think Barami's a 10. I think Haji's a 10, like a proper old school 10 that drops deep, links play, makes things happen, wanders. Haji's the same as far as I'm concerned. That's how you get the best out of these He's sort of a kind of maverick type players. So that's my working. I think that possibly Barry Ferguson will play him as a proper 10. And I think that that's when you'll see the best of this boy, because that is what he is. That is position, as I said, same as the boy that left. We'll not mention his name. But and the same with Hadji. I think that that's, if you're a 10, you're a 10. That is what a 10's job is. Drop deep, link play, make things happen. Go past the strikers every now and again. Do you know what I mean? So that, for me, that is an old school number 10. And I don't think that Clement ever wanted to play with an old school number 10.
I don't think Barry plays with a 10 either.
I don't know what he plays with.
I'm sure it's a 4-3-3. I keep it on.
We are surmising an awful lot here. Hence the reason why, before the vote, I said, let's see what happens.
That's why you should have all voted Mark, by the way. Can I just say, by the way, that it's now being reported in America, 49ers and NFL News 24/7 on Twitter. The San Francisco 49ers investment team are set to purchase a 51% stake, and this isn't me. I'm copying the tweet, folks, so please don't at me, right? A 51% stake in Scottish soccer club. I'll never get used to that.
Ooh.
Rangers in the next few months. The driving force behind the deal is Parag Marathi, who is the president of the 49ers Enterprises and executive vice president of football operations. More dollars coming in via the Athletic, NFL, and hashtag FTTB, whatever that is. So that it's been reported in America. Listen, see whatever you hear on socials, guys. Ignore it. Ignore it. It's almost a done deal, right?
Correct me.
I'm sorry. I'm saying that as somebody who is frequently cut up, and well, I made that sound quite dangerous here, didn't I? His podcast is constantly cut up and thrown out on social.
Frequently clipped. Yeah.
Clipped.
So, yes. If I'm not mistaken, I think that if you purchase 30% or more shares in a company, I think legally you must make a bid for the rest of the shares in that company.
Oh, they'll want full control. They'll want full control.
I might be wrong. I'm sure if we can get a Celtic fan in, he will tell you exactly what that kind of corporate law is.
And he'll know how much each individual share costs as well.
So what I'll maybe do is I'll maybe try and find a Celtic fan somewhere and ask them that question, because I am sure that they will be able to tell me the answer to that. But I think that is the case. I think that they need to offer the rest of the shareholders the buyout of their shares. I think once you hit that 30% mark, I might be wrong.
The funniest tweet I seen was somebody put out, it doesn't matter if you get taken over because you've made a loss. So with financial fair play, you can't spend any money. And I'm like that. Whoa, that's like digging. That's digging and digging and digging. It's absolutely mental. I remember the question that was asked now, Kieran, and we'll finish up on this. And it seems to be getting asked a lot, and even not just in our comments, but on socials as well. And I don't really think it's going to be top of Barry Ferguson's list, but I'll ask you anyway. And the people are asking, will Barry have the guts to strip the captaincy off of James Tavernier? I mean, like 3 months? Does it? Why?
So that kind of ties into the previous question then, because I think the player that he'll really help and you'll see the change is Raskin. I think that Barry Ferguson will try and I think he'll try and teach Raskin how to become a general in the midfield. I think that he'll show him how to be aggressive, but not completely too aggressive. I think, I'm only going out on a limb here, I think we'll see Raskin as captain. Maybe not on Wednesday, but surely Ferguson as a Rangers man has watched Tav not be exactly amazing. And I just think that, I think that Tav will, that's a hard one. I think Raskin will be captain by the end of McGregor, by the end of Ferguson, McGregor, etc.'s close tenure. I think it will be Tav for a while, but I don't think Tav will get all the minutes that he is getting at the moment, because you can see that he's a shadow of himself and he needs a good rest. And when you were talking about the 49ers, look, I just hope we've got enough money to pay the face painter, because we're due them a lot of money, apparently, as I've seen on quite a lot of social networks at the moment. So if we can pay the face painter, we can improve Raskin, we can get this team pressing, and we can get somebody in that's going to put a foot up these players' arses, then I am happy.
By the way, and it's weird how they don't understand how sackings work as well. I mean, I'll just leave that out there. But it's mental. I'll give you the final word on that half point, Mark.
Listen, but the way things are going in this podcast, we might have McGregor in goals at the weekend. We're surmising an awful lot here, guys.
But that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to talk about the upcoming things and what could possibly happen. If we all knew everything, there wouldn't be podcasts.
It is properly unknown. It really is properly the unknown. But listen, for me, I'm going to jump on board.
At least we don't pretend we know, Mark.
No, 100%. And like other people do, 100%. 100%. Good point. Well made, Martin.
Thank you.
So, for me, I would have one about my captain. Simple as that. Raskin showed when he had the captain's armband that he deserved the captain's armband. He showed me 100% that he is the Rangers captain. I thought that as soon as he had that armband on, he grew as a player, he grew as a man, and he grew as a captain. So for me, he would get it 100%. I think that it's a perfect opportunity. The only problem is, like Kieran said there, we've not got any fit right backs. So you can't drop Tav as it stands at the moment, unless by some magical mystery strangeness that Clement was telling his lies, that there is somebody that's fit. I don't know.
That'll be interesting.
You got me at it now. You got me at it.
Mark, you're just surmising. What you doing?
See, you've got me at it, man. You've eventually. It's took you around 2 minutes to get me on board. No, I'm talking piss like the rest of you.
So is it vote Martin now then?
Hi, Mark's putting it in, vote Martin.
Not in the slightest. Never. I'll always back myself no matter what. Even if I'm wrong, I'll back myself.
Don't back down, double down. That's what I've done my whole life.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Folks, that will do us for tonight. I apologise to regular viewers. You have seen my face far too much over the last few days. Not my fault, Rangers' fault. I had planned a day off yesterday. I was taking my little brother out for a driving lesson, and then Rangers just went, "Oh, Martin's got plans." Boom. That was a joke, by the way, for people who maybe think I'm being serious. So thank you very much for tuning in. To our CEO and sponsorship members, actually, I'm back at 9 with the EPL show. So for the CEO and sponsor members, you'll see me at 9. Apologies again. So yeah, but listen, please like, share, and subscribe, whatever you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever it is. We've rocketed past 13,000 subscribers now. We've almost done 200 subscribers in 2 days or a day and a half. So please make sure you keep hitting that subscribe button. If you want to help support the podcast further and by becoming a member, then please do so. There's going to see you in my dreams, Martin. You wish. You absolutely wish. Massive thanks for all the super chats tonight. Thank you, Kieran. Thank you, Mark, my friends. Everybody else, we'll be back on Wednesday for the reaction. For the members, we've got the watch-alongs. We've got the afternoon Rabble tomorrow. We've got the live members stream phone in tomorrow night as well. So plenty coming. So thank you very much, everybody. And we'll speak, as I always say, very, very soon.